Historic milestone, decades in the making. Today, the Bluegrass Army Depot destroyed the final agent in its chemical weapons stockpile.
It ends a nearly 40-year commitment to get rid of the weapons in Madison County. They had been there even longer before the public became aware. The destruction is historic not only for Kentucky but for the whole U.S. WKYT's Julia Sandor talked to one advocate who has helped keep the community safe all these years. Very committed. It's our top story at 10.
A sigh of relief.
It was an awe-inspiring moment after all this time.
Craig Williams has been working on safely ridding central Kentucky of chemical weapons for 39 years.
It's not only a glorious day for Kentucky, but it is the first global effort to rid the planet of a class of weapons of mass destruction.
The process began under the 1997 Chemical Weapons Convention Treaty. Under the treaty, the U.S. committed to completing the destruction by September 30th of 2023. He says when the Army first announced that they had chemical weapons in Madison County, there were many concerns.
It was not unreasonable to think that it could become an incineration site for military waste for decades to come. And when you put that into the mindset we had that it was already dangerous, it was just not acceptable at all.
Communities united to help pass legislation, which he says forced the Army to identify and demonstrate alternatives to incineration.
That were more protective of the public health and the environment where they were going to dispose of these weapons, including here in Kentucky.
The Bluegrass Army Depot started destroying over 500 tons of lethal chemical agents in 2019. With the final destruction of the U.S. chemical weapons, Williams says it isn't a bad thing that the Bluegrass Army Depot was the last spot, because things could have gone much differently.
We're proud to be the last. You know, sometimes being last is okay because you learn a lot from the previous exercises. And we did learn quite a bit.
In Richmond, Julia Sandor, WKYT.
And the Bluegrass Army Depot will be having a news conference tomorrow morning to discuss the milestone. That begins at 10 a.m. WKYT will provide details from that online on WKYT.com, in our WKYT News app, and of course on our newscast throughout the day tomorrow. Federal leaders weighed in on the weapons destruction. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell releasing a statement early today saying, in part, we wouldn't be here today without the determination of local community leaders. He went on to say the people of Madison County can finally breathe a sigh of relief. President Biden released a statement saying in part, quote, it marks the first time an international body has verified destruction of an entire category of declared weapons of mass destruction. I'm grateful to the thousands of Americans who gave their time and talents to this noble and challenging mission for more than 3 decades.
Let's fact check which chemical weapons were at the Bluegrass Army Depot. This is the M55 rocket. It was produced in the late 1950s and originally intended for battlefield use. Its mission was to target large areas with 11 pounds of toxic chemicals. Next are these 8-inch projectiles. It has a hollow one-piece steel shell. The projectile cavity contained 14.5 pounds of liquid nerve agent. And then this is a World War II type munition. The projectiles in the Bluegrass stockpile contain mustard agent, or as we know it, nerve agent.